Hi, everyone. My name is John Cottrell, and welcome to Soft Flow. This is a gentle yoga practice, and it's about 60 minutes. And for our soft flow practice, we always like to use props. And props are just a way to support your practice and really to support your body. And I use these typical props. I like to use a nice soft blanket. So if you got a blanket, you want to grab something soft like that. I also like to use a couple of blocks or just something that's kind of stackable. It's just a way really to bring the floor a little bit closer to you for things like side angle pose, which we will be doing in our practice today. And you can always use books like dictionaries or something like that if you don't have yoga blocks. And then you want like a big pillow. And this is just a yoga bolster. It's just a firm cushion. You can use even a cushion from your sofa. And this is always nice for your Shavasana practice, another way to support your body. Okay, so for our practice today, we're going to be focusing on core conditioning. So just some gentle, really easy movements that you can do just to help strengthen your core and to give it a little stretch as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and start in seated. So I invite you to either just sit comfortably on your mat, on a soft blanket or pillow, and even feel free to sit on a chair if you need to sit up on a chair for this first portion of our practice, or up against a wall. Always good. Now I like to cross my legs. You don't have to cross your legs. You can extend your legs, whatever is most comfortable for you here. We want to be in a space where we can come to stillness and prepare for our practice. So as you're finding yourself settling in your soft seat, perhaps close your eyes or just soften your eyes. Take a steady gaze forward if you'd like. And then just start to tune into your breath. You might even start with a full breath in and a slow breath out. And just feel the body begin to relax. Continue with slow, steady breaths. This is just a way to be more aware, connected, in tuned with yourself, arriving here in the moment so that you can be fully present for your practice. And even know that when you come to the yoga mat, whether it's a gentle yoga practice or even something that's a little bit more vigorous, that you're taking care of yourself. This is time for yourself. So since we're going to be focusing on core conditioning, we like to think of that as the center of the body, right here. It stabilizes us, it gives us strength, balance, control. But even just thinking of it as a way to center yourself, especially when there might be times when you don't feel very centered and connected. So if you need to or want to, even just rest your hands on your belly. As you breathe in, you want to feel the breath rising upward to fill up your lungs. And when you exhale, you want to feel your navel draw in towards spine. And as you lay your hands gently on your stomach, you might even feel that gentle movement. So a nice full breath in, lifting and lengthening through the spine. Exhale, draw navel inward towards spine. Just continue with your slow, steady breaths. In a moment, we'll add a very simple movement, which I like to call our moving meditation. But first, just take 3 slow breaths. When you're ready, and inhale to extend your arms out across the room and reach all the way up into the air. Nice big stretch. And exhale, extend your arms out with some good effort as you allow your arms to float back down by your side. Let's go ahead and do that again together. Inhale, extend your arms out. Really reach. Feel like it's a stretch. You're going to reach out and then reach up like you're going to touch the ceiling. Good. Then exhale, extend your arms out and back down by your side. Now go ahead and continue breathing and moving on your own. And really just moving with the full pace of your own breath. Reaching up for the stretch, exhaling as you come down. And just that reminder of your center. So again, as you breathe in, allow your arms to reach up. Feel your breath rising upward, filling up your lungs once again. And the exhale to connect to your center. So as you're able, as your arms are in motion, draw your belly in so you feel that light contraction of your abdominal muscles. Now go ahead and finish the breath that you're on right here. And we'll take 2 more breaths. Excellent. Go ahead and rest here for a moment. Just let your arms come down by your side, even relax in your lap. Because your arms were in motion, you may have felt sensation in your shoulders. So just notice your shoulders as they're just releasing and relaxing after that movement. We'll get ready for our next movement, which is a mild back bend. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see another perspective of this pose. So from here, you're going to take your hands behind you, maybe just lean back gently into your hands or even onto your fingertips if you happen to be propped up on a blanket or pillow. And so when you bring the arms behind you, it draws the shoulders back a little bit. You might even exaggerate that a little bit by just squeezing the shoulders back behind you. And then you'll tip your chin up a tiny bit, and this prepares the body. Now, we'll inhale, press into the ground with the hands or fingertips. As you press down, breathe in, feel the breath rising, once again, filling up your lungs. At the exhale, let's draw navel inward towards spine. Let's keep that centering and a good connection to our core center. Inhale, press into the ground, feel breath rise, feel that nice expansiveness in the chest. Exhaling, draw belly in, and do that 3 more times on your own. And when you feel complete, just go ahead and lower your chin a little bit. Walk your hands toward yourself and just sit in stillness. Once again, you can just bring your hands to your lap. Just pause, let everything come back to neutral. Now I'm going to stay turned sideways so you can see this next thing. But if your legs are crossed here, we're going to uncross the legs and bring the soles of the feet together. This places us in cobbler's pose, which is a nice hip opening expression of the body. And if you'd like, you can use your blocks or some kind of prop. You can even be 2 pillows, like 2 sofa pillows, and then just place them underneath your knees or legs so that your legs actually rest on something rather than me just hanging out in the air. This is nice because it just sends a signal to the body. Because your leg is touching the block or the pillow, it sends a message to the brain that, oh, I'm resting on something, I can relax. And that's what we really want to experience. So you might even hold on to your shins, ankles, feet, or toes. Wherever you hold on to, you want to be able to sit up nice and tall. So you'll breathe in and feel even taller, that full length of spine and torso. The exhale, we keep that connection to our center. And then we'll start to hinge forward a little bit, hinging from the hips, lead with your heart and your chin just a tiny bit. And you can see I didn't move very far at all. We're going to inhale, keep that nice spinal extension at this new angle. Exhale, let's draw belly in, hinge forward a tiny bit more. And you can see I'm not moving far, I'm not moving fast. And that's another intention we like to create in this practice, is that we're not forcing the body, we're not going too fast. We want to be very gentle. We really want the breath to guide us, to take care of us. We want to be able to, throughout the practice, even though we'll be doing some other types of movements that take some engaging, we want to be able to breathe slowly and deeply throughout it. So if you'd like, you can hinge forward a little bit more, just putting a little bit more sensation in the inner thighs. And even feel free to lower your head and even round your back a little bit. And just notice the new sensations that arise when you do this. You might feel a curvature in the spine, maybe a little release and lengthening through the neck.
And even a little bit of a heaviness in the body as you kind of fall forward a little bit. And of course, the sensation in the inner thighs. Let's take 3 more breaths. And when you're ready to move, we'll start by lifting the head. Just tip your chin up a little bit. So you may be looking forward out in front of your mat. That will just help extend your spine. Then maybe your hands on the mat. Press into the ground to help press and lift yourself up until you're nice and tall in your seat. And just hold here for a moment. Take a breath. All right, let's move our props out of the way so we can move our pillows or blocks to the side. We can continue using the blanket if you're using a blanket here, because we're going to swing around and come to our hands and knees. Now, if you need the extra padding, the blanket is nice to use. You can even fold your mat, or maybe you're already on something soft. Maybe you're practicing on carpet, so it's already some softness underneath you. But if you need a little extra cushioning, you can use this blanket. So here the knees and the wrists are well protected. Cat and cow. So this is an inhale to lift head and heart a little bit, opening through the chest, a little arch in the back, which creates a bit of a back bend. Then exhale, let's round it all out. Bring chin to chest, allowing the back to round. Pull your belly button up towards spine. Let's continue this. So an inhale to look forward, open your heart, that mild back bend feel. It tips the pelvis back. Exhale, tuck pelvis in. Navel pulls up towards spine. Feel the rounding of the back, chin to chest. Just continue to flow. Now, when you do your cat pose, that's the exhale, rounding the back, pull belly button up towards spine. Just notice that. Pay attention to that feeling, because this is part of our core conditioning. When you engage your belly like that, just engaging those abdominal muscles really does help with strengthening, providing good support in the body, especially if you feel like you have a weak core. Now, core is not just your abs, the front portion of the body, but your core is also the back side of your body. So if your back is either stiff or just a little weak, just doing these kinds of movements will help bring strength to these areas. Okay, finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. It's just nice fluid motion, getting things a little bit more loose. And then just come back to a neutral tabletop posture, and we'll pause for a moment here. If you happen to be using a blanket for softness, you want to crawl off the blanket, we'll set it to the side, have it nearby, because you might want to use it again. Then return to your hands and knees. Let's get ready for our downward facing dog. So you'll be here at your tabletop. First, go ahead and step your hands forward. And as you step them forward, spread your fingers out pretty wide so you feel a stretch between each finger. And with the hands stepping forward, now your wrists are out from underneath the shoulders. Now you're going to tuck your toes behind you. We'll inhale, look up or look forward. So I call a mini cow pose. Exhale, round it out into a mini cat pose, like we did earlier. Hold cat, pull belly button up towards spine, feel that engagement. Then press hands firmly into the ground, then lift your knees off the mat, hips lift up into the air until we're in this inverted V shape that we know as downward facing dog. Feel free to make a slight adjustment with the feet and hands on your mat. However, we're not going to be here too long. Go ahead and now take a look at the space between your hands and start stepping forward until your feet are firm on the ground. And maybe the feet are closer to your hands. Now you'll be in a deep forward fold at the moment, but we're going to get immediately out of it. So you're going to inhale, slide your hands way up the legs, maybe to your knees or thighs until you feel like you can fully extend your spine. There you go. Exhale, back down we go. We're going to pause here for a moment. Now you don't have to touch the ground at all. You might even have your hands way up by your shins or knees, or maybe you can bring in those blocks if they happen to be nearby. Turn them upward like this. And I'm just leaning on my blocks. It just gives me a little bit of support as I hold my body in this forward fold. You can even hang heavily forward, taking this ragdoll quality of the body. It's heavy, But it also feels like there's some lengthening going on in the hamstrings, down through the back, and it allows you to loosen up the shoulders and neck. And this is nice, especially if you happen to hold a lot of tension in those parts of the body. Won't be here too much longer. Let's go ahead and start shifting the weight back into the heels. Bend your knees. Let your hips come downward towards the ground like you're sitting down into a chair. Look forward. That will start to extend the spine. This may allow you to take your arms out to the side. I call this spread your wings. Press your feet firmly into the ground so you can straighten the legs. Standing up now. Let's reach up into the air. There you go. Then exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. There you go, right there. Hold for a breath or two. Let's just do this very simple movement together. So we're going to inhale, take the arms down, out, and up. That's it. Exhale, bring the palms together and down to your heart. A very simple flow. I like that. This is something that's something you can do anytime, every day. It's just a way to get the body in motion and get the breath moving in the body. Okay, let's do a half salute to the sun. Basically, we're going to fold and come back up. Together, inhale, let's take the arms out and up, reach high. Exhale, spread your wings so they come out to the side. Bend your knees, sit back and down into an imaginary chair. Then let the arms come down, let the head drop a little bit. There's that heaviness in the body. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or your thighs. Again, fully extending your spine like a tabletop. Exhale, we'll fold, back down we go towards toes. A brief pause here. You can go back to that ragdoll feeling if you'd like. Then shift your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees, let your hips drop into that imaginary chair. Look forward, arms out to the side. This just preps the body to stand. Then inhale, press feet into the ground, stand up tall, reach into the sky. There you go. This exhale, hands together and down to your heart. Good. Let's just pause. Just take a moment and just return to the sensation of your breath. We can still be very active in our bodies here. So still, as you breathe in, you want to feel the breath rising to fill up your lungs. In your exhale, for that core conditioning or that abdominal lock or that engagement of your abdominal muscles. So just hold and breathe. Very good. All right, let's continue. We'll add on to our sequence. Whenever you're ready to move and go at your own pace, inhale, extend your arms into the air. Another nice stretch. Exhale, let's fold forward. Good hinge from the hips. Bend your knees a whole lot. Come down slowly and carefully, maybe touching toes. Inhale, sliding your hands up to your knees or thighs. Let's lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold again carefully. And you're bending enough so you can place your palms onto your mat in front of you so you can start walking or stepping both of your feet back until you're in plank pose, a high push-up position. Hold for a second here. We're going to do something. Bring your knees to the floor, just your knees. We're going to stay in this posture for a little bit longer. This is more core conditioning. I'm going to have you just press your hands firmly into the ground, making sure your arms are straight and strong. And then as you inhale, just feel the lengthening in the spine. Feel like you're just trying to extend to get longer, like you would in that monkey pose, in that standing position. As you exhale, just pull belly in. Just feel that engagement. This is just another version of plank. Okay, we just happen to have the knees on the ground. Now you could lift the knees if you'd like. So this is plank. We're doing the exact same thing. So either one is correct. One more breath in and out. Now, if you're on your knees, let's come back up onto the toes. Then you're going to bend the knees a little bit to send your hips into the air, and that should guide you back into downward facing dog. At any time, if this becomes too much pressure on your hands, rest. Just bring your body to the ground, take the weight and pressure off the hands at any time. Now, inhale, extend your right leg up behind you. It doesn't have to lift high, just long. Feel it fully extend. Exhale, let's bend the right knee. Bring that right knee in underneath you towards your chest, shifting your body weight forward. We're going to pause here for a moment. This is more core conditioning. Then set the right foot onto the ground. It might just land right underneath you, which is fine. Set your left knee onto the ground. A little lean to the left because you're going to reach back, grab hold of the right ankle or foot so you can place it up near the top of the mat or near the right hand like this. Relift the left knee. And if your weight is forward like mine is, we're just shifting the weight back. Just feel like your hips are being pulled back towards the back edge of your mat. Feel the left heel. It's lifted up off the ground, but feel like you're trying to press it into the ground. This should take some weight off the hands. So slide up to fingertips like this. We're lifting up a little bit. I call this sweep the ground or sweep the floor with the fingers because there's no weight on the hands. Now bring your hands up to your thigh. Press into the thigh muscle so we can lift up to about 45 degrees right here. Let's hold. Let's keep that anchoring effect, making sure the left heel is pressing back and down. Feel this in the back leg muscle area. So the inner thighs squeeze in towards each other, strong legs, and of course the belly, your core. Let's take the arms out to the side, rise up and reach up until we're in our high lunge position like this. Keep that nice extension up, and then we'll lunge a little deeper. Just bend the knees a tiny bit. Hold for a moment. Making sure you're squeezing belly in and also inner thighs towards center. That's more core conditioning as well. Let's inhale, lift up a little bit so we can pivot or turn that back foot all the way down to the ground. You'll turn sideways. There you go. And bring your arms down to parallel. This will take us to our warrior two. Hold for a moment. Going a little further now, we'll reach out past the right knee with an angled upper body. There you go. Rotate your arm so your right arm will come down a little bit towards the inner leg. And your left arm reaching into the air. That's it. So reaching towards the ceiling with some effort. So feel these stretch qualities in the body. Make sure you're breathing in and out. Good. Let's breathe in, preparing the body to move. We're going to exhale, carefully turn towards the ground, bend, fold. Bring your palms to the mat. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Push your hands strongly into the ground. Lift your hips a little bit. This is more core engagement, really. So you can slide the right foot back into plank pose. Hold for a second. Bring knees to the floor. Let's stay in this variation of plank. The inhale just to feel the extended spine in this posture. Exhale, pull belly in. Hold. Just a couple more breaths in our holding position of plank. Okay, let's get ready to move. Just breathe in. The exhale, tuck your toes, lift your knees and hips up into the air, returning to downward facing dog. Make a little adjustment as needed. Then we'll do our lunge sequence on the other side. Now, inhale, extend left leg up, reaching back energetically through the toes. Exhale, bend this left knee. Bring it in underneath you, towards your chest, shifting your body weight forward. Your shoulders will be over wrist for a second. Hold. You're just hanging in midair for a second. Then set the left foot onto the floor. Just set it down. Then set your right knee onto the ground. Let's go and get that left foot and just pick it up and just place it up higher, ready for our lunge. Let's relift that right knee. Remember, the body weight is probably forward, so let's pull the hips back to get the lightness in the fingertips. Rise to fingertips here so you can do the sweeping action. The spine is beginning to lengthen. Let's bring hands up to the thigh, lifting up to about 45 degrees. Let's remember to anchor with that back heel. Push the back heel as if it's trying to land onto the ground. Feel the inner thighs squeeze in towards each other like you're holding onto a block between them. Pull belly in. Feel secure here. Then sweep your arms out and up into the air. Reach high, then lunge low. Just a little bend of the knees will do. Holding for a second in our high lunge position. We'll inhale, lift a little, pivot, right heel to the ground. You'll turn sideways. Arms come down to parallel. Let's just check in. Make sure your left knee and your left set of toes are pointing directly forward, just as your left hand is reaching forward. Let's follow the left arm out, angle the upper half of the body, rotate the arms here. Let's bring the left arm to inner thigh, right arm reaching up into the air.
Now, your head can be neutral. You can just look straight ahead. You're even welcome to look up past your right hand or even look down at the ground. Looking down at the ground might even actually help with balance. Let's breathe in, just reach and stretch a bit more. Exhale, let's turn carefully, fold to come down to the ground, plant the hands, rise up onto your tiptoes behind you, push into the mat with the hands, feel the hips lift if you can, so it takes the weight off the left foot so you can slide or step it back into plank pose. Hold plank for a second, then we'll bring both knees to the mat, sit back onto the heels just very briefly for hero, and then off onto the mat. So you can swing the legs around to the front. Scoot if you need to sit in the center of your mat. Now we're gonna lie down onto the back. We're gonna do some work with core lying down. So if you need some cushioning, if you want a blanket underneath you, feel free to put another blanket underneath you. So when you're ready, just join me here, lying on your back, knees bent with feet flat on the ground. And just relax. All right, we're gonna be lifting up into bridge, but not right away. First, we're just gonna do some movement of the pelvis, okay? Stay exactly where you are, don't move. Now we did this movement early, we did cat and cow, where we arched the back, making a little back bend, and we rounded it out into cat pose. So cow pose, cat pose. We're doing pretty much the same thing, but lying down on our backs. So let's see if I can explain it and you can do it with me. So first we're gonna inhale, arching the back, just like we did in that cow pose. I call this low bridge. The pelvis is tipped. I'm still sitting on the ground, but I've made space underneath the low back. I can even slide my hand underneath it. So a little arch there in the back. That's the inhale. Then the exhale, tilting the pelvis the other way so I can press the low back down into the ground. See, now I can't get underneath. Inhale, arch, creating that low bridge. I can slide fingers underneath. Exhale, press low back into the ground. So it's basically a pelvic motion. And just continue doing that. Inhale, arch. Exhale, I'll just say scoop, because it's kind of, you're hollowing out the belly like you're getting a scoop of ice cream out of the carton there. Inhale, arch. Exhale, scoop. And just continue doing that. Be as gentle as you like with this. Take your time. So again, no rush with this movement. But do pay attention, just like you did in cat pose, that exhale where you draw belly in, and now in this case, down towards spine, and you might even feel the belly muscles engage. We'll do that 2 more times. On the second exhale, we're gonna lock this position. So as you exhale, belly comes towards spine, low back is pressing into the ground, hold that posture, but keep breathing. Now your belly is locked, so it's not gonna move, but the breath still moves. You're gonna inhale and just feel the lungs expand. Feel the breath kind of bypass the belly, filling up your heart space, your lungs. Exhale, if you can, press belly down more towards the ground. More engagement. This is core work. It seems quite simple. You're just lying here, but you're really engaging, strengthening these abdominal muscles because you're contracting them. 2 more breaths like this. Now on the second exhale, as you're still engaging those ab muscles, press feet into the ground and lift your hips up into the air. If your blocks happen to be nearby, go ahead and slide them underneath your hips if you like. We're not going to be here too long, actually, but just a minor back bend. You can even use your hands. Right now, I'm just using my hands and just kind of lifting myself up, just supporting my body. And just 2 more breaths, and feel the breath rise to fill up your lungs once again. And exhaling, we're still engaging in the belly. And then go ahead and lower your body back down to the ground. Let's do a little stretch. Go ahead and extend the legs out front. Reach your arms behind you if you have room, and lengthen. Go ahead and hug both knees in towards your chest. Just catch them in your hands.
And some little movement here, just kind of random movements that might feel good. We're going to do a quick twist here, okay? And this is more core conditioning. So you're going to gently take the knees over to the left side to begin. Extend your right arm to the right side. Now, if you need to, you can always place a prop between the knees or even a block underneath the bottom knee, which is the left knee. Just so you don't over-rotate. If your low back is a bit sensitive, you certainly don't want to over-rotate this. But this may help release a tight or stiff back, especially if it's a low back. Let's go ahead and bring the knees back up to center. Hold center for a moment. Let's go ahead and take knees down to the other side. So knees to the right, left arm extends to the left. And again, this affects the whole spine, but you might feel this a little bit more in the low back and maybe even in the hip area. Let's go ahead and come back up to center. Catch the knees in your hands, maybe another hug or some random movements if that feels good. Now we're going to sit up. Now you can sit up by rolling to one side and pressing yourself up. That might be a little safer. Or if you'd like, rocking forward and back with a little momentum and rock your way up until you're seated like so. We're going to do boat pose. And here's a version of boat I really like to do. Now, typically we do boat leaning back with the feet in the air. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep the feet on the ground. So go ahead and keep a good bend in the knees like this. Flex your feet so they're very active. And then hold on underneath the knees. And just hold on like there are handlebars. Now you're going to inhale and sit up as tall as you can. Imagine maybe you're sitting up against a wall or in a straight back chair. Inhale to get that lift. Exhale as you're able, engage your center. Let's lock it in place and feel that strength and support. Then with that engagement, we're just going to lean back a little bit. Like you're in a reclining chair that's just going back, but the back is still long and flat. Take another breath in for more length in the torso. Exhale, engage belly. Now you can stay just like this. This is very effective. If you want to add a little bit more challenge, perhaps lean back a little bit more. You can continue to hold on to the legs so you just don't fall back. You can also release the legs. Hands can be free, reaching forward. So our variation of boat pose, I really like it actually because you can perhaps actually stay in the posture longer, which means just more effectiveness, more work, and more results, quicker results even to your core system. All right, let's go ahead and rise back up. Maybe just cross your legs for a moment or just extend the legs so that everything can kind of relax. So you can just kind of loosen up a little bit. All right, let's go back to hands and knees. So you're going to swing the feet back, legs back, come back to hands and knees. Let's go back briefly to that cat and cow. So an inhale, lift head and heart. Arching the back a little bit. Again, these aren't big movements. Exhale, round it all out. Do that 2 more times. We're just returning to that nice mobilization, undulation through the spine. And when you're done, just come to a pause in a tabletop posture. Let's set up for down dog. Go ahead and step the hands forward once again. Spread out your fingers. Press the hands firmly into the ground, strong arms, feel that sensation, then tuck your toes. Breathe in, look forward for a mini cow. Exhale, round it out to mini cat. Tuck toes, lifting the knees, hips into the air, downward facing dog. Hold for a moment. Even here, you're upside down, belly buttons pulling up towards that mountain peak to help you hold the posture. Now look at the space between your hands. Let's go ahead and take another walk up towards the hands just until your feet are flat on the mat underneath you. Here's that deep forward fold. Inhale, slide up the legs until your torso is fully extended, parallel to the ground. Exhale, back down. Weights in the heels, bend your knees, look forward. Spread your wings, inhale, press feet strongly into the ground, stand up tall, reach into the air. This exhale, bring your arms down by your side, down by your side. Very good, yeah, shake it all out, roll your shoulders if you'd like, good. Okay, now we did a little bit of a twist. We were seated and we were lying down, we did a twist. Let's do a standing twist. Now you can do this with a block or even a pillow between the thighs. I'm just gonna grab one of my blocks. I'm just gonna place my block between the thighs and give it a little squeeze. So if you have something, go ahead and squeeze. And it does a couple of things. One, it just reminds us that we're pulling in or squeezing in towards center, okay? It also stabilizes the pelvis, which we want to do, because we're going to take a chair pose and we're going to twist very mildly in the upper body. We want to make sure everything down below stays stable. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways. So together, let's inhale, extend your arms into the air. Exhale, let's take chair pose. It doesn't have to be a deep seat, just sit back a little bit. Weights back behind you with the hips, hands reaching out front momentarily. Go ahead and bring hands to heart center to prayer pose. Good. Now you've got the block perhaps or pillow between the thighs. Just give it a good squeeze, or just be aware that you have the object between the knees or thighs. Now we're going to inhale. As you exhale, you're going to carefully turn your torso, twist your upper body towards your right side, very minimally. Minimally, so it just feels like your upper body is in motion. Everything from the waistline down is still stable. They have not moved. If you can twist a little bit more, go ahead and take that rotation a tiny bit further, not much. And very much like that lying down twist, we're getting into the spine. In this case, mostly in the mid-back. Let's breathe in. Exhale will unwind. Go ahead and just place your hands on your thighs just for a moment as your body kind of returns to neutral. We're going to stand up tall. So inhale, let's stand up tall and take the arms back up into the air. Right away, let's sit back into chair pose. Arms extended for a second. Bring hands to heart center. Ready for the twist to the other side. So we'll inhale to find more length in the spine. As you exhale, be sure to squeeze your block or pillow, pull belly button in, and then slightly rotate to your left side. A mild rotation, checking in with your body, making sure everything's still level and aligned. You can tell if you look down at your knees. If your knees are still aligned, hopefully they are, that means your torso is doing the work. It's the only thing that's in motion. If you can twist a little bit further, go ahead, but not too much. We're going to breathe in. We're going to exhale, unwind, place hands on thighs, hold. If you've got an object or a prop between the knees or thighs, let's release it. Hold on to it for a second. Inhale. Exhale, start to fold down to the ground, and you can actually set your object on the ground. Let's continue our flow from here. Inhale, slide hands back up the legs just so you can extend the spine, flat like a table. Exhale, bend, coming down. Let's place the hands back down onto the mat out in front of you. Let's walk both feet back into plank pose. Breathe in for more extension through the entire body. Exhale, bend your knees a bit, send your hips into the air. Downward facing dog. Let's inhale, extend right leg up behind, reaching back energetically. Exhale, bend your right knee, bring it in underneath you, shifting your body weight forward. Pause for a second for more core conditioning. Then set the right set of toes on the ground. Set left knee on the ground. Reach back to pick up the right foot to bring it up to the top of the mat. Relift the left knee. Pull the hips back towards the back edge of your mat until the fingers feel light and you can lift up a little bit to fingertips. Bring hands up to thigh, press into thigh to extend spine at a 45-degree angle. Anchor that back heel, squeeze inner thighs towards each other, pull belly in, secure yourself. Inhale, reach out with the arms, reach up into the air. That's the in-breath. We exhale and lunge a little deeper. Let's keep it in motion. We're going to inhale, lift a bit, pivot the left heel to the ground, turn sideways. Make sure your right knee is still pointing forward. Arms come down to parallel. Warrior two. Side angle, reach out with the right arm, follow it. Let's rotate the arms. Right arm comes down, left arm reaching up. Let's stay here, but if you're able, bring the left arm up and over your head, reaching so this left arm comes a bit closer towards your left ear. Then at the same time, feel your left foot, press more into the ground. We're getting more lengthening and stretching to the left side of the body, more core conditioning. Let's breathe in. Exhale it slowly. Turn to the ground. Bend to bring the palms to the mat. Lift the left heel. Press into the ground with the hands. Lift your hips. Slide right foot back. Plank pose. Pause for another quick second. Then bend the knees, hips into the air. Downward facing dog. Good job. Other side. Inhale, extend left leg up. Reaching back. The exhale, we bend the knee. Bring the knee in underneath you towards your chest, shifting body weight forward. Pause for core conditioning. Feel that in your abs. Set the toes down. Set your right knee down. Reach back, pick up the left foot, put it up higher on the mat. Lift the right knee. Pull the hips back. Lightness in the fingertips. You can rise to fingertips. Then walk hands up to the thigh. Press to lift to 45 degrees. Feel the extended spine. Extend that back leg by activating the heel. That's your anchoring. Squeeze inner thighs towards each other. Pull belly in. Arms extend out. Reach up. It's an inhale. You might even lift up a little bit. Exhale, we lunge. We're going to inhale, lift up again. Pivot right heel to the floor, turning the body sideways. Arms come down to parallel. Checking your alignment. Then follow your left arm out forward. Angled upper body, rotate the arms. Left arm comes to inner thigh. Right arm initially reaches straight up. Then again, if it feels okay in your shoulder, reach over your head, reaching through the fingertips. Your arm comes a little bit closer towards your right ear. Your fingertips of your right set of fingers are reaching in the same direction as your left set of toes. Feel the lengthening. Also feel your right foot press more into the ground. See if that helps to lengthen and stretch the right side. Let's breathe in. Here we go. Exhale, we'll turn towards the ground. Carefully bend. Bring the hands to the mat. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Press hands strongly into the ground. Lift your hips. Slide left foot back. Plank. Pause. Pause longer. Bring knees to the ground. Sit back. Get off the hands. And sit off onto the mat. All right, swing the legs around to the front. We're going to take a seat, and if you can, cross your legs. Find a comfortable cross-legged position. I'm going to prop myself up on a blanket. You can do the same if you want to, but finding your cross-legged posture. Let's do one more twist. Okay, I'm just going to mirror you. So take your right hand and bring it behind you. You might be on the blanket if you're using a blanket or just on the ground. It can be your palm or your fingertips just on the ground, somewhere near your right hip perhaps. And then your left hand just comes across and just holds onto the right knee or thigh. We're going to inhale, push into the ground behind you with the right hand so you can sit up as tall as you can. Exhale, pull belly in, and we'll use that sensation to carefully rotate a little bit to your right. Hold. Again, just like that chair pose that we twisted, we're not twisting very far. Don't want this to feel like it's straining. Okay, you want to be able to hold this for a few more breaths. You're obviously in a twist. You're not forcing the twist. This provides not only strength in the core, the sides of the body, because of the breathing effort, but also maybe a little stretch, because we're holding that so the muscles can do their lengthening process. Let's breathe in, get tall, exhale, pull belly in for support, so you can now unwind and face forward. So you can just bring the hands out front, let them rest on your lap. Hold for a moment. And we'll get set up for the other side. So now the left hand can come behind you, maybe near the hip, just somewhere you can easily press into the ground, yeah? Let's take the right hand, we'll place it on the left knee over here. We'll inhale now, push into the ground behind you, re-extend spine, get as tall as can be. Exhale, pull belly in, that slight rotation towards your left side. Again, not forcing it, not very far. If you went a little bit farther, I'd say soften it up a little bit, unwind a little bit. You want to, maybe it feels like you're just kind of facing in the same direction as your left knee. That's as far as you really need to go. As you exhale, don't forget the breath part. As you exhale, you're engaging the muscles. That's the strength quality. And just by holding this twisting sensation, you might get rid of these natural, gentle stretch feelings in the sides of the body, maybe even in your low back. Okay, we're going to breathe in to get tall. Exhale, pull belly in for support as you now unwind to face forward. Let's just pause here as we come back to neutral. Excellent. Okay, let's get ready to do some more floor work. So I'm going to come off the blanket. I need to adjust my mat a little bit, but have your props nearby, whether it's the blanket, maybe a couple of blocks if you have them, and your bolsters. So have them at arm's reach, hands reach. Sit in the center of your mat so you can lie down onto your back. We're going to go back to that bridge pose. So you're going to bend your knees, feet flat on the ground, lie flat. You can even relax here for a few seconds. We're going to do that same little pelvic rock first, then lift, so we can continue to do our core conditioning. Here we go. We're going to inhale, arch the back. So the bottom is still on the ground, but your low back is lifted off the ground, creating that low bridge. Exhale, now press low back into the ground, that scooped feeling or hollowed out feeling in the belly. Inhale, arch. Exhale, scoop. One more. Inhale, arch. Exhale, scoop, and hold that sensation. Hold the body in place, but don't hold the breath. Keep breathing. Bring breath to fill up your lungs. Make that dynamic. Then the exhale, just maybe contract the belly muscles a bit more. 2 more times. Now on the second exhale, we're going to engage and prepare the body so we can lift the hips up into the air. Once again, you can just use your hands to help lift yourself up. But if you happen to have those props, any props nearby, bring those in and get them underneath you. I'm just going to use 2 of my blocks, lifting my hips high enough. And then I can just sit right there on the blocks, which is really nice because it's I call this a supported bridge pose, because you don't have to do much work here. All you have to do is just sit, and everything just kind of opens. You're somewhat relaxed here. Now, if you're just lifting yourself up on your own, there's certainly much more engagement. You can certainly do it that way, or just come to this more relaxed, supported variation. We'll take a couple more breaths here. You're welcome to stay here for a little bit longer. Our next pose, whenever you're ready to move into it, if you decide to move into it, is just a leg extension into the air. So I'm taking one leg, and then the other leg straight up into the air. I'm still sitting on my blocks. So I propped my hips up, and I've lifted the legs. Now, if you're not using blocks, you can use a pillow. So just something a little bit more soft and cushioned underneath you, or nothing at all. You can just lie flat on the mat and extend the legs up. This is certainly very energetic in the legs initially, so feel that energy, feel the effort. This is also core work. Now, if you didn't have any kind of core stability, you would not at all be able to take the legs into the air, let alone stand on your own 2 feet. We need core energy, core strength. Now go ahead and loosen things up. I like to just do a little bicycle pedaling here. So just any kind of movement in the legs that feel good. There you go. Be creative. I like to take the legs out wide, far apart, so I get a stretch in the inner thighs. back and even crossing the legs like there were scissors maybe, getting a stretch in the outer portions of the legs, bending the knees, even circling the ankles. If you can, wiggle your toes. Again, any kind of movement or no movement at all. Take 3 more breaths wherever you are. After your 3rd breath, you're just going to set your feet back down onto the ground. If you're using props underneath you, lifting the hips so you can remove your props out from underneath you, set them to the side, and come back down to the ground. Let's do a quick hip opener. Bring the legs together. Knees are bent, but bring the legs together. And then let both knees fall out to either side. Right knee to the right, left knee to the left. And it just opens up the inner thighs. Now we did this seated. This is just the lying down version. Reclining cobbler's pose or reclining bound angle pose. This is just one variation of the posture. Another way to kind of relax as well as experience a stretch in the inner legs. Won't be here too long. I want to give you some time for Shavasana. Maybe another breath or 2 in this position. When you're ready, you can bring the knees together. Give yourself another hug. Draw the knees in close. Let's go back to that twist. We've already done it, but let's just repeat it. Let's take the knees back down to the left side. Extend right arm to the right side. Because we've added some other twists in the practice, maybe this feels a little different. So we're just going to check in to see if this feels any different from the first time when we were here. Two more breaths on this side. Taking your time, bringing the knees back up to center. You'll pause in center. And then take your time to take the knees down to the right. Left arm extends to the left. Two more breaths. And when you're ready, just return to center. Maybe one more hug of the knees. And here you can decide what you would like to do for your Shavasana, your relaxation posture. Traditionally, yes, we would just extend the legs out front, arms down by your side, and just lie flat on the mat. But if you'd like to use cushions or blocks or blankets for any extra support of the body, please feel free. I'm going to use my bolster for this. Again, be creative. Find what's going to be most comfortable for you. You might want to elevate the upper body. You might want to elevate your legs or feet. I want to bring the bolster in across my mat. I'm basically going to drape my body over this. I really like this because it just feels good for my back and it opens the chest a little bit. So I just drape myself over the bolster. The head just kind of hangs on the other side of it. I bring the blanket in just to prop it up a little bit so it doesn't strain my neck. But it opens up in the chest, and I can extend the arms out to the side. Legs can extend here, even bend the knees, which I'll do. So once you've found your posture, just hold in stillness. Feel free to close your eyes. Let the breath come naturally. We've done our core work, our core conditioning today. In any kind of work you do, it's always deserving of some rest afterward. Stay exactly where you are. No need to move. Just to return to the awareness of your breath. Sometimes we can become very still in the body, but the mind likes to remain active. And so if that's the case for you at this moment, just take a breath in and out to clear your mind, to come back to that full relaxation. Once again, return to the awareness of your breath. Come back to this moment. And with this awareness of breath, take 5 slow, deep breaths. Just starting to generate energy in the body once again. And as you're approaching your 5th breath, taking your time with these breaths, you're also preparing your body to move. And after your 5th breath, moving in slow motion, carefully roll onto either side of your body. Take your time. You might even pause there for a few moments in this nurturing pose. A nice reminder that you came to your yoga mat to take care of yourself. Take a breath right where you are. Then your next breath, use your hands and that breath to help rise up now to a seated position. Move slowly, no rush. And just make your way to a comfortable seat. You might cross your legs. Once again, you're welcome to extend your legs, maybe even propping yourself up on a block or pillow or blanket. Feel the lengthening in your spine. Now, inhale, extend your arms out, reach up. And as you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Hold here in stillness, and while in stillness on your own, just take one more breath in and out. And as we complete our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste.